is up, Sickle Cell Warrior and Warrior family? Today, I want to talk about sickle cell horror stories, hospital horror stories, to be exact. Um, I have had several horror stories involving the hospital, unfortunately. And I know as a sickle cell warrior community, we have all had our fair share of horror stories in the hospital. So today I want to elaborate on some of the horror stories I have experienced. Um, the first incident I can recall was years ago when I was in my hometown, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I had come into the ER for a severe pain crisis. I was in so much pain and probably severely dehydrated. And it literally took the um, phlebotomist or the IV team 12 tries before they could get an IV. 12 tries. And the lady that was, sticking me was on the IV team. So she's supposed to be the best of the best in the hospital. Okay? And she was having a very hard time finding a vein and getting it to stay. And then there was a couple times where she would get the vein and everything would be fine. And she pulled the catheter out by accident. And that happened twice. Out of the 10 sticks, or out of the 12 sticks I had, 2 of them she had, and she pulled the catheter out. I will never, ever forget that because I was in so much pain. So much pain. And it's crazy because even after all of that incident, my hematologist at the time did not want to give me a port. He felt like I didn't need one and it was a high risk of infection and all of these things. And I'm like, but at the time, he's wanting me to be on blood transfusions every month. And every time I go into the cancer center for these blood transfusions, they are having to stick me at least 4 times before they can get an IV that's big enough for the blood. And I got tired of that. I got tired of that, having to deal with that every single month, being stuck multiple times to find one good IV. And what's so insulting is people will call us addicts, and it's like, why would we willingly subject ourselves to that? Like, it's easier to just go to the streets. If we are addicts, it would be easier and cheaper for us to go to the streets. Period. Like, come on now. That's what's so insulting to me about the whole thing, the whole label they try to slap on us. But anyway, so that was a horrible experience I had in the emergency room, and it is what actually prompted me, along with the continuous blood transfusions I was getting every month, it prompted me to get a portacath. And I had my portacath for 10 years before it got infected and it was taken out. Okay. And so the next horror story I have is I was in the emergency room again for a pain crisis again. But this time I was pregnant with my second son, my youngest son. And they had a OBGYN come in and tell me that I should not be having my son. Literally, straight up to my face, told me I shouldn't be having my son. I even believe at this time it was too late for an abortion. I believe. And this man had the audacity to tell me I should not be having my children because I have sickle cell. And this is my second child, mind you. My second child. And then they wanted me to go see this man in the office as my OBGYN. And they literally said, you have to see all of the doctors in the practice just in case your doctor is not on call when you have your baby. Because he wasn't my doctor. He was just over the whole OBGYN department. And yeah, I was like, I do not want to see him. And I would reschedule as much as possible until they said you have to see him. And then the day that I saw him in office, I asked him, I said, can someone else do this exam? He's like, no, what is it? I'm like, can the nurse do the exam? Can the nurse do what you're about to do? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, well, I need someone else because I don't want you to touch me. I need someone else. I do not want you to touch me. And he's like, okay, I'm discharging you. I'm discharging you. Okay, and I'll go somewhere else. And I got my discharge papers, and I was like 7 months pregnant, 7 or 8 months pregnant by then. And he discharged me from the practice. And I had to go and find another OBGYN, but I'm grateful to God because the OBGYN that I had, I loved to death. I loved to death, literally. Shout out to Dr. Emerson. You know who you are. And so, yeah, there was no way in hell I was going to let a man that told me I shouldn't be having my kid examine me or do anything to me or my baby, deliver my baby, anything. He wasn't going to examine me, let alone deliver my baby. Okay? Because hell no. You've basically already told me that you don't think I should have my child. So that does not make me feel safe. I do not feel safe with you as my doctor because you clearly don't think that my child should exist. So, yeah. I'm like, I'm not. And that was my very first impression of this person, was him telling me I shouldn't have my child in the emergency room when I'm being seen for a pain crisis. It's like, bro, I don't care what your opinions are. You or the OBGYN. And if I have not expressed to you that I am interested in an abortion or anything of the sorts, you should not be saying stuff like that to me. And I don't care what disease that person has, unless that baby is going to kill that person if they have it. You should not be telling someone that they shouldn't have their child, especially if they did not hint to you that they are not going to be able to handle it. And that's the fucking problem right there. I don't care how young I look. I'm a grown ass woman. And that child was planned because I'm married. And unfortunately, there are more horror stories like that from Sickle Cell Warriors. And I am going to share them with you.